Hi, my name is Kevin Sack, and I'm here to talk about gun control laws. From 1996, according to Pew Research Center, firearm homicides have decreased by 49%. So, why would we restrict gun ownership? My opinion is that gun ownership shouldn't be restricted. As a hunter and someone who has done my research on this topic, I know what I'm talking about. I've been around guns my entire life, so I know them well. Restricting gun ownership is one of the worst solutions to gun violence that there is out there. The reason why gun ownership should not be restricted is because the bad people will get the guns anyway, Americans will have no way to protect themselves, and violent crimes and robberies will skyrocket. My first point is that when we restrict gun ownership, that only makes it so that good law-abiding citizens will not get any guns. When someone is going to commit a mass shooting, do you really think that they're going to care about a law like how many rounds you can hold? They're just going to go into the black market and buy an AR-15 that can hold 30 rounds anyways. Also, by restricting the number of rounds in a magazine, you really aren't doing any good. What what you're actually doing is making sure that the shooter puts more precise shots on his or her target. Even when they do run out of ammo in the mag, it only takes roughly 5 seconds for an amateur to switch out the mag. People will always find a way to get what they want, legally or not. The second problem is that good Americans will have no way to protect themselves. When you restrict the gun laws, all that you're doing is making sure that the good law-abiding citizens don't get any guns to protect themselves. The people who legally buy guns aren't usually the ones who are committing the crimes. Legally bought guns have an ID on them, which makes it so that they can be traced right back to the owner. Illegal guns have that filed off, so you cannot do that. A big point that anti-gun people think they have is that knives are just as good at protecting yourself as a gun is, and that is very wrong. It's quite literally bringing a knife to a gunfight. A gun has better reach, speed, and effectiveness over any type of knife. It is honestly one of the worst arguments that I've ever heard. There are many ways that we can lower gun violence, and this is not one of them. My final point is that if we restrict gun ownership, violent crimes and robberies will increase drastically. Just a few weeks ago, there was a big news story about a man named Jack Wilson who stopped an armed shooter at a church by shooting him. When people are armed, nobody wants to mess with them. Criminals go for people who are weak and defenseless. Guns make it so that those weak and defenseless people have a way to protect themselves. If Jack Wilson didn't have a gun that day, how many more people would have been killed? Most, if not all of them, would have been killed because by the time that the police actually got there, it would have been too late. Now, imagine how far the shooter would have made it if there was even more guns at that church. The two people who were actually shot during the tragedy might not have been. Now, let's say that if we did ban guns, the people who do the crimes won't go to the black market. They will still commit the same crimes with knives or other weapons. Best case scenario, the crime rate won't change even a little bit. The point is that crimes will happen either way. It's just a matter of safety of the American people because guns are the best way to protect yourself from any attack. To wrap it all up, gun laws should not be restricted. They should not be restricted because bad people will get the guns anyway, Americans will have no way to protect themselves, and violent crimes and robberies will skyrocket. This topic is something that people really have to think about before making a decision on it. Remember this, guns don't kill people, people kill people.